Okay, the other big game we want to talk about here today, it is number 3 Ohio State hosting Iowa, 3:30 kick on CBS. And we've got two of our buddies here to talk with us, Tom Kakert, HawkeyesReport.com, and Jay Stevens. He's a host of Locked On Buckeyes. Gentlemen, good to have you both here on the show. Welcome back, by the way. We've talked to both of you before. First off, let's just get an overview of where the teams are right now. Jay, starting with you. Ohio State rolling through so far and kind of where you thought they'd be at this point, right?
Yeah, rolling through is a good way to describe it there, Larry, because that's what Ohio State's really just been doing, just doing what they're supposed to do. Roll right through teams and take care of the non-conference slate. And you open up Big Ten play, you're only giving up 1 touchdown, 7 points to Michigan State, who is a better football team than I was expecting at this point in the season. But Ohio State's just rolling. The offense, you call it a cheat code. You can call it hard to stop. I mean, I've been watching Buckeye football all my life. I have never seen an offense that doesn't really have a way to slow it down. You can't really double any other receivers because you're leaving somebody else wide, like in one-on-one coverage, which is basically going to mean they're open. You got 2 running backs that complement each other very, very well. The weakness might be the tight end room, but they're just doing their job. Like, everyone's doing their job so well on offense. Then defensively, the Buckeyes defense, I had high expectations for them already. They're meeting them. They've got some mental lapses and some weak spots at times, but they're also getting the job done and even making big-time plays, calling turnovers in key situations like we saw against Michigan State. The Buckeyes are rolling, and they're playing really good ball right now.
Tom, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Iowa, it's a work in progress. That's how I would term Iowa. It's getting better incrementally. Obviously, the offense was the big focus, and the run game has been terrific. They're averaging 250 yards per game on the ground. Caleb Johnson, up until last week, and Ashton Genty going nuts again, surpassed Caleb, but one of the leading rushers in the country so far this year, and he's been terrific. The thing that hasn't kind of hit yet is the passing game, and they haven't hit much downfield. It's been kind of dink and dunk with Cade McNamara as the quarterback. And on the defensive side, Iowa has been solid. It was interesting. We had our bye week press conference with defensive coordinator Phil Parker, and I think he must have read some stuff that some of us have written about the defense maybe giving up too many big plays, because he came in blazing at us with all kinds of stats and facts and figures about how the defense is actually really good this year, and maybe in some respects better than last year. So that they've given up some big plays. There's just no two ways about it. They lost the Iowa State game because they gave up big plays. They gave up 2 long touchdown plays to Troy, who's has a really fabulous wide receiver, but I'm going to guess he's not as good as Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State. So I think that's one of the things that they can't. That's Phil Parker's backbone of his defenses. You just don't give up explosives, and they've been really good against the run. They've been good on third downs, but just too many big plays so far this year.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the college is paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned.
When you think about the big plays, that's Ohio State, right? Chunk plays. You saw last week, 2 weeks ago, it looked like they were doing like sprints up and down the field. Like there was no defense. It was almost like a shell drill, But how does Iowa slow that down? What do they need to do to slow down that explosive offense?
I always term it like trying to make them play left-handed. They got to try and just get them out of character. They can't be. Iowa is at their best when you're in 3rd and long. Iowa is at their worst when you're in 3rd and 1 or 2. That's just any defense, but particularly with Iowa, because they're just not built for success if they don't get you in 3rd and long. They may let you drive a little bit on them, but they've got to. The key for them is winning first down. if they're keeping you behind the sticks, first down, they got a good chance at getting off the field and kind of getting them to play their game against them. But if they're in 3rd and 1 or not even getting to 3rd down, boy, it makes it tough on them. Really does.
Jay, Phil Parker against Chip Kelly. One could argue the best defensive coordinator in the country versus the best offensive coordinator in the country. What are the Buckeyes going to try to do to attack that typically strong Iowa defense?
Kind of do some of the same things they've been doing, shifting the game plan for the opponent. The one thing that I think Ohio State didn't do last week early on that I wish they did more of was run the ball. But they found ways to get quick passes and to open up things over the middle that the run game was there. It was just a little bit later to get started. Now, I do think they may do some of the same things again to where go quick passes to Carnell Tate or a quick pass to Jeremiah Smith to kind of get the defense looking outside. And then all of a sudden you hand the ball off to Henderson, hand the ball off to Judkins, and it opens up the run lane up the middle. And I only say that because I believe Iowa's holding teams on average, I want to say under 75 rushing yards a game. I don't know if that's exact number, but it's pretty low. Like Michigan State was giving up 96 rushing yards a game on average before the Ohio State game, and Ohio State eclipsed that mark in the first half. Well, I believe Iowa's run defense is better than Michigan State's. So if Ohio State does try to do the pass outside quick, which I'm really not a fan of, I don't like the bubble screens and the smoke screens and all those types of quick passes outside. Not a fan of them. But it worked last week against Michigan State. It may work again against Iowa because if that's the path that they want to use to open up the run lanes up the middle between the tackles, that might actually be the formula to do it.
You know, Jay, Iowa obviously new coordinator on offense, trying to shake things up after years of Tom will agree ineptitude. Right on the other, it's just not been good on offense. I'm not bad than anybody. When Ohio State gets on defense, what do you see now that maybe gives them an advantage against this Iowa offense, this new look offense for the Hawkeyes?
Well, Iowa's strength on defense is Ohio State's strength on. Iowa's strength on offense is Ohio State's strength on defense. So you're kind of basically going to get two guys. Like I was looking and I was trying to refresh my memory on Iowa football before coming going. And I'm thinking, oh, I forgot. This guy is cold. Like he's really, really good in Caleb Johnson. I think he's almost at 1,000 yards on the season through 4 games. So Ohio State really hasn't had to stop a running back like him all year. The luxury is Iowa's pass game really isn't that tough, but you can't sleep on it either. Like Ohio State can't do the whole 10, 12 yards off on receivers like they did last week because I think they'll have to play a little bit closer up to stop the run game. But it's eye disciplined. Ohio State coaches must play the right linebacker. The linebackers are one of the weakest unit on the defense. And you got a guy in Arvell Reese who I think is the best linebacker, but he's not a consistent starter. The starter is a captain and Cody Simon at the mic, who I'm not really all in on. He's a good, solid player, but if the young guy is better, play him, because this is a game for the young guy to show everyone why he is the best Mike at Ohio State. You got to play him this game, because if you don't, it might not be the outcome. Now, Ohio State might win, but they also might give up 20 points because if you can't stop the run, Iowa's definitely going to score.
Red Grange wasn't just a football player, he was a legend. Discover the untold story of Illini great Red Grange in a new novel by Doug Vilhard called The Golden Age of Red. This captivating book takes you back to the 1920s when a humble young Illinois player transformed into the galloping ghost and electrified the nation. Get your copy of The Golden Age of Red by Doug Vilhard today. Available on Amazon and wherever books are sold.
Tom, do you feel like Iowa can run the football against them and establish the run? Is that time of possession's really got to be a key for the Hawkeyes, right? Keep that offense off the field.
Yeah, they got to grind some drives and run the football. Interesting subplot in this game for you guys. Caleb Johnson's a Hamilton, Ohio native, so a lot of motivation there from his perspective, but also the Ohio State guys are probably going to try and give it to a kid from Ohio. And I think you guys will remember Cade McNamara played at that school up north, and he's the one that started the 3-game win streak against the Buckeyes. I have a feeling, just a gut feeling, that maybe the Ohio State players might have a little something for Mr. McNamara on Saturday, and might take a little frustration out on him during this game. Also, fun kind of nugget is Luke Lachey is Jim Lachey's son, and
Yeah.
Jim is the color analyst for the Ohio State radio broadcast. So, kind of some fun little nuggets and kind of fun little storylines for this game. But here's also a fun little sidelight. So we had talked to Tim Lester, Iowa's new offensive coordinator, last week, and talked to him about kind of the second half against Minnesota, where they frankly just big boyed him. They ran over him in the second half, Caleb Johnson in particular. And he was talking about during his bye-week press conference about taking some shots down the field, and said he kind of had some in mind for the third and fourth quarter of the game when Iowa started to take control and felt like they had an opportunity. But he said he got outvoted for doing that. And I'm like, there's no voting. There's not like all the people on the offensive side of the ball were not voting. I'm going to guess it was a veto more than a vote from the head coach. So it seems like maybe old KF was putting his foot down. But that's something, by the way, offensively, that Iowa just has not done, is taken shots. They just haven't. So I'm really curious. They're going to have to take some shots against Ohio State if they're going to win a game, in my opinion.
Got about 30 seconds before we got to get to a commercial break. Give us your predictions on this game. Tom, you start.
I think it'll be tight early. I think Iowa's going to give them something to think about, but I just think Ohio State's talent is too much. It's probably going to end up being, 35-17, something like that. I just think Ohio State, the Smith kid just scares the death out of me. I mean, he made some catches last week that I know that Williams kid at Alabama is getting all the love, but take a look at that kid. He is just too good.
I'm going to go Ohio State winning this game, guys. I think it's going to be an easy win. It won't be easy. Iowa's a good team, a good, solid team. Kirk Ferentz's teams are always ready to play. I'll probably say Ohio State 38-10 if I have to put a score prediction in here too. I don't know how you stop this offense. I really, realistically, they could score 40 points and it wouldn't shock me because this offense is that good. I give Caleb Johnson one touchdown. I don't think it gets any more. I don't think Iowa scores anymore. And the one thing Ohio State's been able to do is put teams in situations where they're forced to throw the ball, and it kind of just squeezes the life out of the opposition. So I got Ohio State winning 38-10.
All right. Hey, fellas, we'll leave it there. We appreciate your time. Tom Kakert from HawkeyeReport.com. Jay Stevens, he's the host of Locked On Buckeyes. And again, it is Iowa at number 3, Ohio State, 3:30 p.m. kick. And it's the premier game on CBS. Gentlemen, enjoy the game. We're jealous because you'll have a better seat than we will, but have fun up there.
Of course.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Once again, we step away from football for just a moment. Big Ten Media Days this week. We'll talk about the men coming up next. Purdue coming off that Final Four national title game appearance. What do they have for this coming season? We'll talk hoops next on Big Sports Radio.